we on? Are we on? Are we on? Oh, we're on. Oh, hi there everybody. I'm sorry I can't be there today to receive this Best Man of the Year award, but I'd just like to say thanks to everybody that voted for me. But I've got to give a big special thanks to Borat, who conceived the Mankini, my mum and dad, who I wouldn't be here without them, and Dan for... So before I start this journey of Dan's misdemeanours throughout his life, I'd just like to say to everybody how wonderful you all look today, and thanks for attending Dan and Nikki's Treasured Day. Anyway, we start where we should all start, at the beginning. Some may say the beginning of the end, but nevertheless Dan was born on the 13th of October 1981, an easy birth apparently. Shame the last 26 years have been so hard, hey Dan? Dan's always been a bit of a cheeky chappy, a real performer. Mum and Dad noticed this cheeky streak in him and decided it would be a good idea for him to be put into Simmons Stage School. His biggest performance was that of Oliver Twist. They were looking to see if his outgoing personality could be realised to that of a Hollywood superstar. Well, I can safely say Dan never quite made it to Hollywood, but that early introduction into the idea of exhibitionism has stayed with him. So I thought we'd bypass Dan's primary school, as they all tend to be memories of being punished by nuns, and move straight on to his secondary school. Here Dan learnt about the birds and completely ignored the bees and education. Such quotes from teachers as you would expect: very poor, poor effort, so on and so forth. At college was a happy moment where Dan and Nikki met. Still in a little bit of shock about that, to be honest, but fair play to the girl. She stuck with him through sick and beer for around 10 years now. So moving on in Dan's life, we get to the University of Portsmouth. I think his main decision for moving down to Portsmouth was he decided that he wanted to stay close to Nikki. I think this is probably the best move he's made to date. I hate to imagine the state that he would have got in if Nikki had not been close by keeping an eye on him. So the university is where Dan got his bachelor's degree in drinking, and he qualified with flying colours. Admittedly, there are a few hiccups along the way. In this very house, he got himself so drunk, he walked into our esteemed usher's room in the middle of the night and dropped his pants, and then proceeded to wee all over the £800 guitar. And here, Dan, are a few other reminders of what you got Mum and Dad to pay for while you were getting your education. So Mum and Dad, you think you got your money's worth? Okay, swiftly moving on. From university, Dan has moved into the exhibitions industry. He has done very well for himself despite the lack of education. He's now an operations manager for Zinc Events, which runs exhibitions all over the country. In true Dan style, and always wanting to excel in everything he does, he's now turned to exhibitionism, which he obviously considers the peak of industry commitment. I've heard one story where Zinc's management had decided a team building day was in order. One of the tasks set was to get a photo of a member of the team naked on public transport, while all the other teams were trying to find the quietest bus to quickly run on and off. Not Dan. In true style, he got naked in rush hour on the Central Line and decided it was not enough just to get on the tube, but then decided for some reason to walk the length of the train with his tackle in full view. I'm only glad we've got no photo evidence of that. So now to my final story, and probably the one Dan is most dreading. Well, to be honest, it's not really a story, just ritual humiliation. I'll give the parents a few moments to cover your children's eyes, and anyone with any major heart conditions or that's easily offended may wish to turn away right now.
Sexy time.
Okay, you can all turn around now. Dan, I'd like to say I'm sorry about that one, but I'm not.